Have you ever felt that you carry an invisible power within you, yet everyday life seems determined to bury it? Recent studies show that over 80% of people live without awareness of their true ability to shape reality, trapped in a script written by others. But there are those who escape this invisible prison. They are rare souls, connected to an energy field that quantum physics is only beginning to scratch the surface of. What makes these souls different? What hidden signs reveal this secret link to the multiverse? Today, we'll uncover 7 hidden signs of souls with rare quantum power. But be prepared. This is not the usual recycled self-help talk or shallow internet spirituality. What you'll hear here goes to the core of existence, the very point where science, spirituality, and destiny collide. And here's a warning. If you are watching this, it's not by chance. The synchronicity that led you here may already be the first sign. So, take a deep breath, expand your awareness, and get ready to step into territories only a few have the courage to explore. And before we go further, make sure to subscribe now. This may be the content that transforms not only how you see the world, but how the universe itself responds to your presence. Perhaps you've silently carried a constant impression, the feeling of not fitting in. From an early age, something seemed off. While others followed social rules as if they were fixed tracks, you looked around and felt like you were on a stage, performing a play that wasn't written for you. This is one of the first signs of a soul with rare quantum power, a misalignment with the collective illusion. It's not arrogance or rejection of the world, but a subtle awareness that material life is not the whole story. Carl Jung called this sense creative maladjustment, a trait of minds that refuse to conform to the dominant narrative because they already sense hidden dimensions. Greg Braden describes it as the echo of the divine matrix, a reminder that you don't belong only to this time or this space. Science might label this discomfort as cognitive dissonance, but through the quantum lens, it reveals something deeper. It's as if your consciousness has already traveled through parallel realities, carrying invisible memories that make this world feel too limited. This feeling of not belonging is not a mistake. It's a calling. It's as if the multiverse is testing whether you notice the invitation to go beyond. Most people ignore it, suppress the restlessness, and choose to adapt. But those who recognize this sign open the first door. And this is the very door where many turn back, because stepping through means questioning what everyone else accepts as normal. If you feel like a stranger in this world, don't fight it. Acknowledge it. It may be proof that your soul carries a different map, coded for realities most have never dared to explore. There are moments when you simply know. No logic, no rational explanation, yet something inside you points in the right direction. And when you follow that inner nudge, you realize you were right all along. This phenomenon is not mere coincidence. For a soul with rare quantum power, intuition is not a primitive instinct. It is an expanded radar, able to detect information that hasn't yet appeared in the physical field. Joe Dispenza explains that the human mind is not just a product of the brain, but a receiver connected to the field of infinite possibilities. When your intuition is sharper than average, it means you're tapping into the quantum vacuum, where all probabilities already exist and waiting. Picture the future as waves in the ocean. Most people only notice a wave when it crashes on the shore. But souls with quantum intuition feel the vibration of the wave while it's still on the horizon, long before anyone else sees it. This knowing before knowing is a sign that your consciousness is moving beyond the limits of linear time. And the more you trust this perception, the stronger it becomes. But here lies the crucial point. Many people ignore that inner voice, doubt themselves, and lose the connection. You cannot treat intuition as coincidence. You must nurture it, listen, and act, because if you neglect this gift, the quantum field goes silent, and what could have been revealed closes forever. So far, we've explored two signs that distinguish rare souls: the deep feeling of not belonging to this world and the quantum intuition that anticipates what has not yet unfolded. These alone are enough to place you before a choice: to accept the common narrative, or to realize that reality is only a fraction of what truly exists. But the third sign takes the mystery even further. It appears when consciousness crosses the boundary of sleep and awakens in territories that feel more real than waking life itself. This is the ability to experience lucid dreams and journeys through parallel realities. While most people sleep only to rest their bodies, these souls treat sleep as nightly training. The moment they realize they are dreaming, the scene becomes a laboratory of consciousness. Flying is no longer imagination, but rehearsal. Walking through walls is no longer metaphor, but direct proof of how flexible physical laws can be. Science may insist this is just unusual activity in the prefrontal cortex, but those who live it know better. It is a portal. Each lucid dream is a crack in the fabric of the multiverse, a chance to visit alternate versions of yourself, to meet people who feel strangely familiar, as if they had already walked beside you in another timeline. And if until now you thought of these dreams as curiosities, know this: they are a calling, a reminder that your soul is not confined to a single storyline, but stretches across multiple realities, waiting for you to remember them. But the multiverse doesn't speak only when your eyes are closed. It also whispers while you walk through everyday life. And for those carrying rare quantum power, the signs appear as coincidences so unlikely they defy logic. You glance at the clock and see repeating numbers again and again. You think of someone, and they call you. You walk down an unfamiliar street and stumble upon the very word that was echoing in your mind. It feels as if reality itself was choreographed specifically for you. Carl Jung called this phenomenon synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that cannot be explained by chance. But perhaps they are more than that. Perhaps they are the multiverse itself rearranging events to align you with your path. The difference is that most people overlook these signals. Rare souls, however, know nothing is accidental. Every number, every meeting, every repetition is a reminder. You are being watched, guided, summoned to take on a greater role. By now, you must realize you are not here by chance. If something within you resonated with the feeling of not fully belonging to this world, if you identified with intuition that seems to foresee events, if you've crossed lucid dreams or lived surrounded by synchronicities too strong to ignore, then you need to listen closely to what comes next. This is the moment where many get distracted, close the video, or simply move on. But know this: that is exactly what the matrix of distraction wants you to do, because the knowledge that follows is not meant for everyone. It is reserved for those who feel the calling and have the courage to continue. What we've seen so far are only fragments, preliminary signs. It's as if the multiverse has been testing your sensitivity, checking if you are truly paying attention. But from this point forward, we step into a territory rarely explored in public, the place where your energy not only perceives, but begins to alter reality itself. And here is the warning: if you've made it this far, it's no coincidence. It means you've already started aligning with this field of power. But beware, knowledge ignored becomes a burden. So breathe deeply, stay fully present, and do not allow your mind to drift. The next signs may be exactly what you've always been searching for, though you've never heard them spoken aloud. If you've made it this far, you already know something within you sets you apart. The next sign is not visible to the eyes, but felt in the body, the skin, the emotional field. It's heightened energetic sensitivity, the ability to perceive the invisible, to sense what most people overlook. Perhaps you walk into a room and immediately feel a heaviness in the air, a dense vibration, even though no one has spoken a word. Perhaps you're face to face with someone smiling, yet you feel hidden sadness or anger. This is not a mere impression. It's an energetic radar running at full power. Greg Braden calls this phenomenon empathetic resonance. Modern science already recognizes that we have mirror neurons that make us feel others' emotions. But here, we're speaking of something beyond biology, a direct reading of subtle fields. This sensitivity can be a burden for those who don't know how to use it. You may feel drained in crowds, anxious in heavy environments, unsettled by sounds or images that leave others untouched. Yet at the same time, it's a rare gift. It's the variability that lets you detect opportunities, sense lies before they're spoken, or recognize places vibrating in harmony with your purpose. So don't be ashamed of this sensitivity. It is not weakness. It's your navigation tool in the multiverse. Learning to protect and refine it is one of the steps that allows you to become not just a spectator, but a conscious co-creator of your reality. So far, we've seen signs of perception, intuition, and sensitivity. But there is something even rarer. And this is where the boundary between science and spirituality begins to dissolve. The ability to manifest realities. For most people, life is like a river. They simply follow the current. But for certain souls, thoughts, emotions, and intentions don't remain confined to the inner world. They shape external events. It's as if their mental waves reach into the invisible fabric of the quantum field, rearranging it according to their vibration. Joe Dispenza describes this process as collapsing waves of probability through coherence between mind and emotion. But let's go beyond that. Here, we understand this ability as the activation of a hidden formula, which I call the quantum trinity of creation. It is composed of three fundamental elements, not the usual names you may have heard in books or lectures, but something unique to our journey. The primordial breath. The moment your breathing syncs with the rhythm of the universe. The visionary gaze. The ability to see, with inner clarity, what does not yet exist in the physical plane. The magnetic pulse. The vibrational alignment between your emotion and the reality you wish to attract. When these three elements work in harmony, you cease to be just an observer and become the architect of your experience. But understand this. This power is not a magic trick. It demands alignment. If the mind desires but the heart doubts, the field remains silent. Rare souls manifest because they carry a conviction that is not rational, but visceral. They don't merely believe, they know. They know with every cell, with every particle of energy. And the multiverse inevitably responds to that knowing. When a soul carries rare quantum power, it is rarely satisfied with surface explanations. From early on, there is a hunger to know more, to go beyond what has been permitted. While most are content with what's found in textbooks or the daily news, these souls seek hidden knowledge, fragments of wisdom that history itself has tried to silence. They are naturally drawn to ancient texts, hermetic philosophies, spiritual traditions that speak in codes, and mysteries of modern physics that seem to brush against the invisible. This is not casual curiosity. It feels more like a dormant memory, a remembrance of having already accessed such wisdom in other timelines. Greg Braden calls this ancestral resonance, the sense that certain words, symbols, or teachings awaken something deep within the energetic DNA. Jung explained it through the collective unconscious, where universal archetypes stir and call us toward mystery. And perhaps you felt this too, a shiver while reading an ancient passage, a strange familiarity when hearing a quantum theory, as if it were not the first time you'd encountered it. This thirst for hidden truths is no accident. It is a sign. It is confirmation that your soul did not come here merely to repeat patterns, but to remember, gather, and activate fragments of a greater knowledge. It's as if the multiverse scattered keys across cultures, sciences, and traditions, and only rare souls know how to find them to unlock the vault of reality. But there is something even deeper that ties all these signs together. If you've recognized yourself so far, you've likely felt a silent force guiding your life as well. No matter how much you try to follow conventional paths, there is always the sense that you were born for something greater, something that can't be explained in ordinary terms. This is the connection to a higher purpose. Rare souls don't live merely to survive, pay bills, or meet social expectations. They feel a calling that transcends ego and personal ambition. It's as if the multiverse has placed within them a specific mission, a code that must be activated in this lifetime. Joseph Campbell called this the hero's journey, the moment when each individual realizes their personal story is actually part of a much greater cosmic narrative. It's when the soul discovers it didn't come here just to exist, but to transform, whether through words, healing, science, art, or even small gestures that ripple across the whole. This purpose is never handed over complete. It reveals itself in fragments, through intuition, synchronicities, encounters, and even painful challenges. But once you recognize the calling, there is no turning back. Ignoring it breeds emptiness. Answering it brings fulfillment. If you've ever felt that your life is not just your own, but part of a greater universal design, that is yet another sign your soul carries rare quantum power. Because only those vibrating beyond survival can hear the voice of a purpose that transcends matter. But not everything on this path is light. Rare souls, precisely because they carry an uncommon vibration, often face periods of deep existential crisis. These are moments when everything seems to lose meaning, when the ground of ordinary reality collapses and nothing feels coherent anymore. To outside observers, such crises may look like weakness, confusion, or even depression. But in truth, they are hidden invitations from the multiverse itself. They are the moments when the soul is forced to break old patterns, shed illusory layers, and cross a threshold of transformation. Carl Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain. The collapse of the ordinary identity is painful, but it is also the chance for the birth of a broader awareness. What seems like destruction is, in reality, reconstruction. In these crises, you may feel loneliness, emptiness, even the sense of being lost. But if you look closely, you'll notice it is within this silence and uncertainty that the clues to your true path appear. It's as if the multiverse temporarily turns off all lights so that you can discover the spark shining within. And that is why only rare souls endure these collapses without losing themselves. Deep down, they know these are not endings, but beginnings. Each crisis is a rite of passage, bringing them closer to the quantum power they carry. And now we arrive at the final sign, perhaps the most mysterious, and at the same time, the most transformative, the secret warning of the multiverse. Rare souls receive messages that cannot be dismissed as coincidence or imagination. They come through recurring dreams, symbols that appear in multiple places, gut feelings that won't go away until they're heard. They are warnings that something greater is about to unfold, invitations to choices that can reshape not only this life, but all timelines connected to you. The challenge is that these warnings are almost never straightforward. They come in metaphors, in fragments, as if the multiverse speaks in a symbolic language that must be decoded. Ignoring them may mean missing a unique opportunity. Listening, however, may open gateways of transformation that alter your journey forever. Perhaps you felt this before. A silent calling that seemed impossible to explain, yet when you followed it, everything changed. If that's the case, know this is no illusion. It is the multiverse responding to your vibration. And here lies the final point, or perhaps the true beginning. If you've recognized these signs in your life, don't ignore them. They are reminders that you are not a limited being, but a co-author of reality itself. Now I want to hear from you. Write this affirmation in the comments to activate your commitment to your own awakening. I recognize the signs of the multiverse and choose to live my quantum power. Now that we've journeyed through these hidden signs together, you must realize, none of this is by chance. If you recognized yourself in any of these, It's because your soul is already prepared to take the next step. The feeling of not belonging to this world, sharpened intuition, lucid dreams, synchronicities, heightened sensitivity, the gift of manifestation, attraction to hidden knowledge, the pull of a higher purpose, deep existential crises, and finally, the secret warning of the multiverse. All of these form a map that leads you back to who you truly are. But the map alone is not enough. It must be followed. Each sign is an invitation, and every invitation requires a choice: to keep living on autopilot or to step into your role as a conscious co-creator of reality. And remember, you are not alone. There is a community of seekers, just like you, awakening to the same calling. Together, we form a network vibrating at a rare frequency, capable of transforming not only individual lives, but the collective human story itself. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel now, like this video, and share it with someone who also needs to hear it. And in the comments, reaffirm your choice by writing, "I recognize the signs of the multiverse and choose to live my quantum power." That is your seal of commitment to transformation.